When I bought the store, I thought I knew everything there was to know about the grocery business until I opened the door, and after about the first 6 hours, I knew I didn't know nothing. I would come in the morning, open up in the morning. I had a butcher and me, and I'd trim produce in the check stand and watch the check stand while I filled up the produce. That's what you have to do when you start on a shoestring. You have to live on a shoestring.
Tim and I have both been in there with Dad since we were, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. We shucked some onions, we stood on milk crates and emptied the baskets out, and from there we went to carrying out groceries, and by the time we were freshmen in high school, we ran the produce department, both of us, by ourselves before we ever went to school in the mornings. I knew from day one that this is where I'm gonna be, this is what I'm gonna do.
Terry called me and said, hey, why don't you come back to the store? If you just move back here, this is a great place to raise your family, and we'll buy the store and let Dad retire early. We're glad to serve in our community. I can't imagine being happy doing anything else.
Our church is 132, and we don't advertise as a food bank. We just meet the needs of the community. So all we have to do is call in and say, I'm going to need 30 loaves of bread, 30 gallons of milk, and then I can go back in and pick it up on the day of delivery, and there it is. And it goes back to our community.
It's nothing in a small town to know that your small business is going to be there for you through those tough times, such as an ice storm. But I know the doors at the grocery store were open for people to still get food and supplies that they need to make it through that time.
I went to work that first morning, and we still had power, but there were lines down all along Mitchell Road on my way to work. Gosh, it was close to noon before the power finally went out.
We had freezers that had food going bad all over the place, but yet you still needed food.
And Terry came to the door and said, you better come look at this. And there was not an empty space in the parking lot. The entire parking lot was full. And he said, what do we do? But when I stood on one of the registers and I told him, take what you need for today, because we'll be open tomorrow, and then you got to come pay us, because this is all we have. And I think most people did. Anyway, we survived it.
So we ended up having a sale the next year, you know, bring your flashlight with you.
I love my job. We're like a family. You cannot go anywhere else and have as much fun and feel welcomed as Forties.
Pretty rare that you can go somewhere and have steaks cut for you the way you want them and get the quality of meat that you're able to get for a great price. And I think that's a very big thing.
To me, they're just like my family. And I'll do anything in the world for the Taylor family at any time.
It's not a business, you know, it's a family is the way I see it.
This town would not be the same if it wasn't for the Taylor family and their grocery store, Forties.
There's easier ways of doing things, but you do things the way we do them because we're part of the community, and you're the grocery store in the community, you take care of the community.
The closer we are to the people in this town, the more important we will be. Not because we sell groceries, but because we're friends and we're neighbors. And I always tell people it pays to shop where they know you, you know? You're much more likely to be taken care of in a personal way if somebody knows your name. Looking back now on 55 years, investing ourselves in this community has been a great decision.